I was hoping for more based in this class.
Let me ask you a question.
So basically what we have is, oh, you have a question, yes.
Before we get started, is this one of those where we swipe the word? This is my first.
Oh, a swiping thing?
Yeah, we're gonna swipe.
No, you don't swipe here. But if you are interested, we would like you to give us your contact information or something like that. We can take our business cards.
Okay.
So basically, we have here a food science curriculum, and here was what? All right, we're going to use the microphone. Oh,
There you go.
I'm alive. All right, so we have a food science curriculum, and who here was part of the opening general session? Okay, so anybody here using the mobile app? A few of you? Pretty cool, isn't it? You know, it really brings a whole new world perspective for us. So, as you know, I'm founder and president of KP Education Systems, and just want to give you a little brief history, kind of give you context as to why and how this food science curriculum came about. Because it didn't just poof magically come out of nowhere. You know, it took long years of work, and then even longer years of trial and error to be able to do what we're doing, especially in the digital technology. So as you know, as you see there, we have a culinary arts curriculum, started it back in 1997 with the simple concept of putting really great useful information, not in a textbook or DVD, but on a computer. So this is before YouTube, Google, the whole entire internet boom happened, and it was very, I guess, how do you say, leading ahead of its time, I think. But we started branching out after that, after becoming successful with the culinary arts into other core curriculum areas. We did that because we had recognized the need to be able to integrate Common Core standards. Of course, it wasn't really called that back then until recently, but we saw the need to be able to bring that entire aspect of math, science, and language arts right into our curriculum. Again, I think we were a little ahead of the time because we did that first, and then all of a sudden we heard, hey, legislation says we should do this now. So there we go, keeping a few steps ahead of the rest of the world. That's because we keep our ears to the ground, so very good. And actually it's very good because our teachers tell us what's coming up. So you guys are the ones who give us the inspiration. So one of my founding philosophies with curriculum is I hate linear curriculum that goes one path. You know, I'm, I guess, ADD, some people say, but I just call myself spasmodic. I like the things to be non-organic, to be able to do many things at once, because if I don't focus on one thing, I get bored of it, and then I move on to something else. Some people call it a problem, I call it an advantage, because I could do so much more than the linear thinkers, so to speak. So, but the thing is, it's not about how good I am, it's about how the students are growing up and living in today's technological, multimedia-based, stimulating environment, and how we need to be able to cater to that and not try to change them, but really to become a better part of their education experience. So I wanted to be customizable. I wanted to be very rich and diverse for different student populations. I wanted to, really bring it online, and really didn't imagine that happening until this year. So the online progress took about 2.5 years to develop from a software-based platform. It's primarily because the technology wasn't there. Now the technology is there for us to be able to do it, to not only create it, but also to use it. And that's very important to me. And the last but not least, it helps teachers teach. Right. So one thing that we do is we do performance-based assessments through Bloom's taxonomy. That's really important to us to be able to integrate that aspect and to really show a depth of knowledge. It's really important to be to see the curriculum and have that level of depth. Individualized instruction is also very important because, if teachers didn't take the time to take care of me, then I probably wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing today. I would be lost among the numbers. So we build a system that does remediation, that really caters to the individual's need because computers can do that. As a teacher, you don't have the time to be able to do all those things, but the computers can help you and be able to create that environment so you can focus on individual students. All right, so I want to see a little bit about who you are. All right. So first off, just kind of give a little smattering of what subjects you teach. So call out, go front. Pro-Start Culinary Arts, okay, over there. Counselors, okay. Food Science, Nutrition and Wellness, Culinary, Counselor. A lot of stuff. Very good. Culinary Arts. Culinary. Supervisor. What is that?
Pro-Start.
Oh, Pro-Start, sorry. Yeah, I'm a little hard of hearing at my age. Okay, there we go. You, sir?
Pro-Start.
Pro-Start? Yeah. Pro-Start. Okay, I think I heard something. Career exploration. And you, sir? Administrative. Okay, very good. Now, which core academic subjects will be incorporated in your class? Like, what's the hottest thing that you guys are facing right now? Testing? Huh? Literacy and numeracy. Yeah. The good old reading, writing, arithmetic, right? Anything else that's data-driven? Oh, we love data-driven. You know, coming from the Google age, we're all about data-driven. So that's one thing that we do really want to support. How will you incorporate core subjects? What resources do you currently use? Anybody? Anybody have a how or what? Yes?
In Virginia, they're trying to incorporate Microsoft IT technology into all of the CTE courses.
Okay, so basically a technology solution. My only response to that is technology is only as good as the things that are driving it. You know, iPads wouldn't be good if it didn't have apps. You know, so on and so forth. So make sure that the technology and integration does have the services and support to be able to produce really great usage. And the last thing I want to know is like what kind of equipment will you have? We're talking about like probably iPad, mobile devices, iPod touches, right? Those are all the things that we're really looking for now. Now I know a lot of people probably have smart boards and clickers, right? And those are very useful tools, but they're starting to become antiquated very quickly. You know, a lot of people bought them, they're great, they're like the 2005 thing, and that's like, clickers? That's still 2005. Yeah.
Culinary instructors, do you have access to science labs? That's a big part of it. Do you have any ability to conduct the experiments that would like to do?
No, I don't, but that's one of the things that I said that I wanted to do in school. So so far I've met with the department chair of the science department, and I told her what I was going to do for the end of the school year. So I haven't really put these things together yet, but I'm working on it.
Okay.
That's kind of exactly what, you know, we see a lot of that.
In the mic.
And we're in the beginning stages of really figuring out how to take our product and help people, you know, blend those departments together. A lot of the stuff that you'll see if you're later in the area of content, you know, chief development will show you is physics, biology, chemistry. A lot of teachers in your school use it just as is as well. So we really want to figure out how to team everybody together. They use what they need. Biology uses what they need. And the food space things out actually apply to it. So you'll see some.
Very cool. It's definitely growing in an organic process, and one thing that we love to do is to grow with you. The food science product didn't come together on its own, and we grew with the teachers and the administration that were building that entire subject area. So it's a collaborative effort. It's not like we created it and you do it. It's like we created it, but you do it, and then you use it, and then you tell us, give us feedback, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That's the only way to really grow today, especially with the social environment and the integration of lots of different collaborative tools. It's not one person tells everyone, it's everyone telling everyone else what to do. So like, what challenges will you face? I'll just say a whole lot. We'll just move on. All right, so let's move on. Mary Horne here, she is my editor-in-chief, and she's the content expert. I'm just the technology guy, so let me go sit down and shut up.
Okay, so the theme of this year's conference is including core in the CTE. Why do you think CTE programs are being targeted for the core instruction? Why has this become such a big deal in the CTE world? Does anybody? Yeah. They selected your class. It's based on interest, and the word relevance has become such a big thing now. in chemistry class, when they're sitting there with the textbook at their seats and dealing with chemicals they don't use on every day, I don't use hydrochloric acid every day, they are not as engaged and they don't find it relevant. And there's a few students who do. They want to go to college and study chemistry. But most of them who have to in our data-driven society learn these skills are not motivated to do so because it's not relevant, except in your classroom. When you're teaching them food and they're learning about nutrition, that is the place now where we want to teach science. So they're coming after you to know science, to teach literacy, to teach math. And the other areas, the science teachers are now kind of just teaching in a vacuum. They're not relevant. So that's why we're here today, because what's that? Your science, huh? Now, do you? No. In fact, that's perfect because that the whole point of this is to bring the teachers together to collaborate, to make the science more relevant, and to make maybe cooking more academic because we can show them the scientific processes behind all these things. And in our health, we need to know about our bodies, how our bodies work, and why we need food, and what foods are better and why. So this is actually perfect, and we really enjoyed building this product for that reason. I'm gonna take you through some experiments that we put in our program, but before I do that, I want to tell you about how difficult this was because you guys are all from different states. We looked at where food science is now a big deal. We looked at Indiana, Nevada, Colorado, California. We looked at multiple states. We also, AFCS, pre-pack, we looked at their standards to make sure that we covered every base. So we have very broad standards, and you personally in your class may use a portion of it because of how food science is so broad in so many places. Some people see it as just health and nutrition, while others see it as chemical bonding and acids and bases and things like that. So we had to include things to match up with everybody. But most of you, the one question we ask is what equipment will you have? Most of you won't have Bunsen burners and flasks and things like that. You'll have to use what you have in your kitchen. So we have hands-on activities that yes, one can be used in the lab, but if you can't use it, you don't use that. But there will be other activities that you can use with just the equipment you have in your kitchen. So we have to try to meet everybody's needs that way. And this one is really interesting. You guys, most of you probably talk about flavors, right? If you teach culinary, you teach facts, food science, you're going to talk about the science of flavor. And so I brought, these are science standards. These are not culinary standards. These are chemistry standards. In fact, I remember when I was in 7th grade, we did a whole taste activity. Do you remember? Where you're blindfolded, and they put a potato in your mouth, but an apple under your nose, and you think you're eating an apple, and you learn from that smell is very much connected to taste. This is a science concept, but this is something you show your administrators. I am teaching science in my class. These are the objectives. Describe the process that contribute to the sensation of taste. Evaluate your individual ability, as we did in our experiments. So we'll give you like a diagram, and you're learning anatomy. You're learning how the brain works. You're learning that the olfactory, the bulb, and the cortex are surrounded by the limbic system, which is attached to memories and emotions. And that's why when you smell birthday cake, it has an effect on your emotions, it has an effect on your memories, and your food taste. This is all very interesting science stuff that the kids can learn. And another good activity that you can do to also incorporate literacy is to bring in some foods like that, some comfort foods, your cakes, to have the kids smell it and then write a paper right there, the first memory that comes to your mind. And why do you think that memory was attached to that smell? Now you're incorporating literacy, science, and food. So the key concepts that we want to know here are the chemical senses, our senses that respond to chemicals in the food, which is smell and taste. We need to know what those are and what they're called. We also learn about the papillae on the tongue. In this activity, what we're going to do is we're going to dye our tongues blue. I mean, we're not going to do it because I don't want you guys looking at my tongue, but But the kids can do this. What you need is blue food coloring. You need one of those little reinforcer things that you put on hole punched paper. A magnifying glass, because you're going to look at that little piece of tongue. And a cotton ball to apply the colors. And all they're going to do is put food coloring on their tongue, and they're going to count the papillae that they see in that little area. I've got pictures here. Because they have people called super tasters. Those are the people that can taste wine and tell you everything that's in it, right? I'm not one of those people. I think I'm just in the middle. But you also have some people who are unfortunate enough to be non-tasters. They have very few papillae, which are the protrusions that carry the taste buds. And so then you can have kids say, well, what do you think you are? Do you think you're a super taster? Do you think you're a non-taster? Let's find out. Let's dye your tongues blue and take a look. They also have strips that super tasters it'll be very bitter to super tasters. They have a chemical in it. But to non-tasters, they won't taste it. You can test yourself that way and then do little taste tests and see who has the strong. This is something that you can do with stuff in your kitchen, blue food coloring, and a hole punched piece of paper. So that's really simple. Oh, it says down here too, if you count them, the super tasters have less than 30, or more than 30, and the non-tasters have less than 15. And then they can even write a reflection about that, like, oh, that's why I don't like coffee. That's why it tastes so bitter to me. So that's just one example of an activity you can do to include science. Another one is types of mixtures. We have a whole chapter on this too, on mixtures, solubility, solutions, colloids, emulsions. We talk about emulsions when we talk about salad dressing and getting the oil and the vinegar to stick together, right? And the oil and the water and all the other stuff. That we need things that hold them together, emulsifiers. And why? And so we talk about the properties of those chemicals, or the properties of water and why won't certain things mix with water. But what we have is a whole lab of just bringing things in. Bring in milk, bring in soda, soup, different types of foods, and have them classify them as mixtures. What are they and why? And they have to look at the properties of each mixture and classify them accordingly. And one of the major key points is going to be the particle size. When you have salt that dissolves into water, it's dissolved. The particles are so small, you can't see them. They're all mixed evenly, distributed evenly. In a heterogeneous mixture, you will have particles that you can actually see, and you see them separated. But then you have these weird things called colloids, where they look like solutions. They look all uniform. Because the particles are so small you can't see them, but the problem is they're big enough that they disperse light. Because light also travels in particles as well as waves, which is including physics. So we can look at a glass of milk. Well, okay, well, first of all, homogeneous or heterogeneous, which is it? Which one's which? The heterogeneous one is the one that you see lots of pieces in, right? And the homogeneous one is the one you can see through. And the particle sizes, though, you may not be able to see them with the naked eye, but you can test them in the classroom with the Tyndall effect. The Tyndall effect is that if it's a colloid and not a solution, the particles will be too small to see, but big enough to scatter the light. And this is something that you can test with your students in your classroom. Is it a colloid or is it a solution based on the Tyndall effect? You see the glass on the right is scattering the light, and the glass on the left is not. So these are just a couple of examples of the way you can include foods or science in your foods classes. But I'm going to have Jonathan show you now our program, because we have such a wide range of science and food together that I'd like you to just take a look at the program now. That was the last one. And if you have any questions, actually afterwards, I'll be around and you can talk to me if you have any questions about content.
All lot less about the content side of things. Mary's the expert there. But I do know that I've worked and talked with culinary foods and science teachers now for a good three years, and really getting a lot of feedback on how to bring these items together. I don't know how many of you have stopped by our booth or seen kind of what we're doing a little bit. You see your hands there. Basically, for anything that I'm going to show you, I'll start by saying that later on, if you come see us, leave your name. We can set you up with a complete trial of this, absolutely free. 60 days for everybody at the show. That means not only do you get to do it, but your students can actually log in. You show them what content you want them to see. They can log in, they can take tests, they can work on the activities in their home, from their mobile device. So, really see and be creative on how you can use that time to sell the idea to your administrators potentially, or just get as much information for free as you can from us, because that's really what we want to do. We want you guys to have what you need. This it's a little hard to see. I might switch to something more. Sorry about that. Slick. All right, that's a little less washed out. It seems very blurry. Is it blurry to anyone else, or is it just me?
Just small.
Okay, well, we'll deal with just small. I can kind of walk you through it, and I'll go over just the basics, and actually I'll start at the beginning, which is, this is our learning management system that we designed. We used to do just software, but specifically we made food science with the intent of designing this system. So the content works really well for food science and online delivery. That's kind of the entire reason behind our venture, was to create content that could be used in an online environment, in a blended environment where students can learn at home, where teachers have to do less work, and students can really become fully prepared for their demonstrations, for their activities, for those experiments that she was doing. So I'm just going to go over some quick orientation so you can see what things look like. But basically in the upper left there, when you sign up for your free trials, you'll kind of see the same thing. You'll have your login, you'll have your books and units that you have available to you. Up there we have culinary arts, food science, foods and nutrition product, which are all things that we offer. Just to give you an example, for some states that give us very accurate standards, like Texas or other states, we actually compile or align the program specifically to their standards and publish it. So if that's something that you're interested in, we're a small nimble company. We'll realign our content to your state standards, and we'll give you something that'll literally slam right out of the park. So that's what we like to do. On the right there is a message board, and it's cluttered because this is Nye's account and it's full of all kinds of junk. So you can disregard that, but basically what you use that for is when you decide what content you want your students to see, you publish it to them, and a deadline saying have this module completed by Friday, and they see that. So pretty simple. What's important here is that we'll actually just dive right into the content. I'll first just show you, so you can see a lot of you are culinary teachers. We have all these chapters of information for culinary, everything from safety and sanitation, advanced knife carving, ice ones. I'll just go ahead and click on safety and sanitation since that also kind of applies to food science. And keep in mind we have a very slow internet connection, so that was those are being down. But you'll see that within each chapter, there's individual modules that are ready-made for you. So if I click on this module for food safety, this is an entire, about the equivalent of a week's worth of content that's going to pop up here, just in this module. So in culinary, we have, I think, 64 modules of information covering somewhere between 1 to 3 years to implement it. We'll eventually pull up. You'll see for every module, there's learning objectives that's completely editable by the teacher if you want to change these. You can reorder the pages. You can actually go to the individual pages and see all the content over here. So let's click on something like Danger Zone. I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with that. This is basically an example of a page that you'll see in our system. Like a textbook, we replace all of that, lugging that textbook around with an online environment. This information is searchable, this information is dynamic, and all the questions are attached directly to the pages. So if you assign them to the students, their test banks are automatically generated. When they go and take their tests, it's going to reflect only the content that you want to publish to them. So basically, that's a fancy way of saying that it's a back-end. So you'll see the pages here. Now, for every you're a teacher logged in, which unfortunately we're not logged in to see the question. Sorry about this internet connection. What's up? Oh yeah.
Here, everybody's on their phone right now.
Well, we're running. We don't have an actual Wi-Fi connection. We're running it off of a Wi-Fi device from the iPhone, and our speeds are ridiculous. If you want to see it in action, please come by the booth and I'll show you some more content. Basically, what I was showing you here was that we have a little function called key points. So when the students are looking through it, if it's a lot of reading, they click on that and it actually summarizes the content to something really just. That's basically it. I'll go to food science now and just show you a little bit of what we have. Rather than showing you the content, I'll just show you the content areas, and then we can do the rest of it. So basically, got it broken down into these units. Intro, let's just click on that and expand it. You've got basically your background in food science history and careers. But here's what I was talking about before about the basics of science unit. Just in this unit alone, you can see each of these are its own full module, like basics of chemistry, on that. You'll get about 30 seconds or so when I get to the content here.
The nice thing about our content too is we have links. So if you are studying like acids and bases, we have links to different places. So you can look and see what things are relevant to acids and bases.
Right, exactly. Here's a good example. Just in this one unit, we've got 33 different pages or assets of information. These are very, very large assets. Everything from matter to physical states to phase changes to all the basic chemistry concepts are in here. We use food to teach them. So all those little, you can see the things that might look like scissors from your perspective, I'm not sure. Each of those is an activity like Mary was talking about. I think I can probably count at least 10 to 15 just in this section alone. From the Lambda experiment to atomic mass to carbonated beverage research activities. We integrate with reading activities as well with writing. She's done a lot of work with her team to improve input literacy into a lot of this as well, and it's continuing to grow. Math as well, we just say science, but obviously those that are included in work for us. Altitude and cooking. You'll see also that these play buttons here, we'll just use this as an example, see how long it takes to load the page, actually have interactive animations on the pages. So in this case, there's an interactive animation here on the states of matter, which I'm not even going to try to load because it will take forever. But you can see the point. Your students can go through here, look at this on their own pace. If you assign them a module and say, okay, I want you to be ready for a test by next Friday for an experiment, they can look through this on their own. All of their data when they take a test will be recorded to you. You can easily see which students are struggling, which ones are falling behind, where you need to focus your visualized instruction so that they're ready for that experiment. So that's where we see education into that whole blended model where your lives are spent doing the facilitation, making sure they're getting the concepts as opposed to reading out loud or something. So I'll quickly go over, and like I said, you can have access to all of this content for free. So I'm not going to spend too much time waiting for pages to load, but I do want to show you very quickly how the program actually works. Basically, what I would do is I would go and select one of those modules to teach, and I'm not going to go through all the steps, but when I click on it, there was a button that said Teach or Edit this unit plan. If I click that, it actually allows me to publish it right into a course that I've set up. So I've created this course called Sample Class. I've created a sample class from an NCEN class. This is nice, crazy stuff. You can say period 1, period 2, period 3. You can say whatever, advanced learners, or you can say something different, extra credit. You can publish all your extra credit content into one unit. Just totally an open recording group, however you want to set it up. Once the content goes in there, you get this little access code here. Your students log into the same system. They type in that access code where it says add course or material. And just like you did on the ACTE, they'll mobile site, if you did that, you add your content code that's on these cards. Each one of those is a block of content. So if that's what they're going to see in that class, they'll have all their units there, 1, 2, 3, 4, they can go through. I'll show you inside one of those classes. Let's click on sample class. Okay, now we see some editing tools. This is obviously a test class. It doesn't really have any data in it, but you can see I've published 5 different modules to this class. One on cooking techniques, one on food safety, one on sauces, one on plating, one on customer service. This is obviously a foods related. What would happen is, as your students go through the classes, these numbers down here, these student, and 9, are test students that we set up. But basically, they go through each of these, and you can see a color code related to how they're doing on that unit. If you click on their name, you can see more information about how they tested. You can see the number of attempts they took, and lots of other data that makes it very useful. So real quick, I'm going to go back to the food safety unit, and I'm going to show you how the assessments are tied into this, because that's really the big thing. How many of you like taking out old pieces of paper and whiting out tests and saving them and filing them away for the following year, right? Not very fun. So that's part of the reason why we really have focused on this online delivery, is it allows you to do some amazing things with testing and with student remediation. So their experience is more engaging, their experience is more rich, and you have to do less work, which is really an added benefit. Okay, so basically what this means is I'm actually going through this unit now as a teacher. I've decided I want to edit it. It gives me the access to move these pages around, save their location. I can delete, I can add my own websites into here. I can embed videos right into my lessons. I can embed PowerPoint presentations. And I won't go through all of that. We're actually giving another session where hopefully we'll have internet and we'll show you all of it. That's tomorrow. But I want to show you, like, for instance, let's go back to that. It's a good page for questions. Big 5 pathogens, previously the big 4 pathogens. Another point of interest, because we update our content very regularly. Mary's whole job is to find the latest content, make sure that we're up to standards. So we'll publish things every 2 or 3 weeks sometimes. So you'll get the most up-to-date content. You don't have to worry about a textbook that's just collecting dust. Exactly, not my period. Okay, so here's a page on pathogens and public health. If I look at the questions editor here, you'll see that these are test questions that Nice made. This is the first one, so you can disregard that. You have different questions assigned right to the content. As the teacher, you can edit these questions with a simple click of a button. You can remove them from the lessons. You can save multiple lessons. You can add your own questions. They're also categorized by true, false, multiple choice, a short answer as well, as an option, and an essay. And then they're also categorized by Bloom's taxonomy. So later on, if you want to take all the questions in the bank and make a very rich test, testing on multiple levels of knowledge, you can do that with a few clicks of a button, and it will automatically generate. So what's cool about this is, I'll just go ahead and show you how this works. If I want to add a question, right here, I'll make it a true, false, and I'll say the answer is true. And I'll say it's an understand question. And I'll hit save. There we go. And now that question that I added is just added to the data. So when the students go through and take the lessons, their test will automatically be updated. So the last thing, without going too far, like I said, showing too much, having it hang up as far as the internet is concerned, I'll just explain that when the students go through their tests, basically what happens is they have those 33 pages for food safety or whatever. If you decide that's what you want them to see, that's what they have access to. Now, as they go through their tests and test out these concepts, they're removed from their working weeks. They're given a score. We say it's a mastery score, so they get novice, apprentice, scholar, or leader. And basically, once they achieve the level of mastery, they can be removed from their working bank, and their lesson gets shorter and shorter and shorter. And then the more tests they take, the more data you have on how they're actually doing their concepts. So I don't want to go into actually showing it, because like I said, I'll do that later. But that's kind of the concept, is that you can take the information, the science or the information, add it to their working bank, allow them to learn this for themselves, even if it's just a supplemental addition to their for each class. And then they can go through on their own and get a lot of information on how they're doing this content. So that's it in a nutshell. Let's see, did I miss anything? I can't really show a lot of the content, which is what I wanted to do, and I'm sorry I can't do that.
I just want to know for those who are out there, what you are currently teaching in your class. Is there a specific scientific concept that you might want to teach, or a specific unit that you wanted to know how to add science to it?
Yes.
Is there a specific unit that you teach in your class that you think needs more science? Yeah. Oh, excellent. Were your kids receptive to it? Did they? Pretty thorough digestion stuff. Should we break it down by part of the elementary personality, each part all of the workings are described in detail, and we also have an animation. So, but we're always looking for ideas for activities and things to do. So if you have anything you want to share with us, we're happy to take that. But if there's anything we can do, just let me know.
Yeah, I completely timed out there. I was actually trying to pull up our digestion section, but we'll actually include that in the demo. You'll have access to all that.
Yeah, it's probably better if you guys want to take a demo. You can sit there and play with it yourself and look through our content, take whatever you need, and call us with questions.
So, yeah, I guess we'll open the floor up a little early, obviously, because we're doing some of the stuff we want to do. If you have any questions, please come up here and talk to us about it. We'll be here for the next 20 minutes, and then take some information. And thanks for attending. We're doing that session more on the testing side tomorrow afternoon, so if you are interested in that, you can come see us there. Oh, and one other thing. How about this? I got a fun activity for anybody who wants to stay around. We have 4 additional aprons left, so we can ask 4 science questions, and the first one to get it right can have the apron. So if you want to stick around. That was a good question. Grade levels. This goes all the way up to an advanced 4th year applied sciences course. That would be like potentially even an AP level science course. But we have food and nutrition content. That product is specifically designed for grades 6 through 9. So we go all the way up. And the culinary product does have some of the food science in it, but the food science product is separate. Right, exactly. Yes, the science product.
Oh, really? Okay. Now you guys do foundation to Sure. stopped. I mean, I started. I just think. Yeah, but no, I think that. Like the conference concepts, it's more. I'm going to do lots of research to understand, but it doesn't make it easier to understand the concepts. The concepts are still here. You're not come up with chemistry. You understand the concepts.
That's on my bag. Yeah, I made the fax thing. Oh, this is gonna be one of mine. I got an AKA one that I got from. Are you acting man? I stopped for a little bit, but I'm getting ready to see it. Because I don't have time to go to it. Like, I just got to meet people.
Next week, it seems tight next week.
Yeah, and it is where is it out?
They actually have it
Well,